If you don't have a virtual address for your LLC, you may be exposing your home address without even realizing it, which can create privacy and security risks and even cause issues with banks, state filings, and platforms like Amazon. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll have a step-by-step guide to set up a virtual address in 2026 the right way. And I'll reveal at the end the provider I recommend today, which, spoiler alert, is different than my last video because of a very specific reason. One thing to know up front, whether you're service-based or product-based actually changes which provider you should choose, because the biggest mistake people make is picking an address that looks legitimate but isn't usable for what their business actually needs. And I'll show you how to spot that. Choosing the right address for your business comes down to key factors, including money, location, and business type. I've helped thousands of clients choose the best address to their business using these factors. I've also tested, compared, and interviewed all the top virtual address companies, so you don't have to. And in fact, I'll share my favorite one later. First, here's where the virtual address actually fits into your business. Your business has 3 types of addresses: registered agent address, principal address, and mailing address. The registered agent address is the address of the registered agent. If that's you, it usually needs to be where you're available during business hours. And if that's your house, it would need to be that address. If it's another person or third-party company, it's their address. The principal address is your main address that's used for public filings and tax records. This is the one that people can usually find. The mailing address is where your business mail is sent. The principal address and the mailing address can be your home address, another physical address, a PO box, a UPS box, or what we're talking about today, a virtual address. So your mailing and/or principal address can be virtual, not your registered agent address. So what is a virtual address? Well, it's a real street address that your business can use without physically occupying the space. And it can have massive benefits, which I'll discuss shortly. Think of it like a business home base without renting the whole building. Here's how it actually works. You choose an address from a virtual address company. They receive your mail and sometimes packages. Many offer scanning and forwarding, and some even digitize your mail so that you can view everything online. Whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business, a virtual address can help in a few key ways. First, it can create a more professional image, which boosts customer trust. Despite operating online, having a physical address in a prestigious location can significantly enhance your business credibility, and even most banks accept virtual addresses. Second, it gives you a centralized place for business mail. Even if you work remotely or out of the US, all your mail is received in one place, maintaining consistency so you don't miss any important mail. Third, and really most important for many owners, it protects your privacy. You can list a business address publicly without exposing your home address. It reduces the risk of identity theft, and most importantly, it protects your family from any unwanted visitors. A virtual address is mainly for your public-facing address. For certain banks or lenders, you could still use your physical home address privately during underwriting because that part is not public. But here's the key, a virtual address is only a win if you pick the right type of provider for your business. Before I show you the step-by-step process on how to actually get the virtual address, I just ask that you hit that subscribe button below. I upload videos each week on legal strategies to help you grow your business and avoid lawsuits. So how do you actually get one? Well, first, you need to be clear on what type of business you're running because this decision affects everything that comes next. Are you a service-based or a product-based business? If service-based, are you online only, or will clients ever show up at your address? If product-based, are you receiving inventory and returns? Or are you drop shipping, selling on Amazon where inventory is stored somewhere else? Even if you have a virtual address, you can still ship inventory to your house. Your virtual address is mainly for what you list publicly. So if your goal is just privacy, you can still have inventory shipped to your home. But if you don't want suppliers to know your home address and you want somebody else handling bulk inventory or returns, that's usually a 3PL conversation, not virtual mailbox conversation. Defining your type of business and goals will help you choose the right service provider, which I discuss later. For example, if you're selling products and expect to have a ton of inventory returns, etc., you need an address that can actually handle this volume. Quick story. I had an e-commerce client who grew fast. As she scaled, she needed an address that could handle returns and volume. And she ended up spending thousands moving inventory to a new setup because she didn't plan for growth and the right address provider early. On the flip side, if you're a service-based business, you need to think about perception. When I first started a company, our virtual address was actually inside a shipping and packaging center. We had clients randomly show up to drop off documents, get confused, and in some cases actually lost the clients because of it. So if clients might show up or Google your address, a commercial office location matters. Bottom line, business type matters because the wrong address doesn't just create inconvenience, it creates friction, confusion, and unnecessary expense. Second, now it's time to actually find a virtual office service provider with your business type and goals in mind, as well as budget. Look for a provider that offers a service for your needs. If you choose the wrong provider, you don't just lose money, you lose time fixing it. Consider these factors. First, business needs. Not all virtual business addresses are created equal. Some providers offer a simple address service while others add in extras like access to physical office space, meeting rooms, or even administrative support. Some have mail forwarding, mail scanning, packaging handling, or access to meeting rooms. There may be restrictions on packages that can be received at the office location depending upon the virtual address provider. Some providers may only allow members to receive regular business correspondence, while others may allow members to receive packages of all sizes from all carriers. It's important to research and choose a virtual address provider that offers the package receiving capabilities that meet your business needs. And if you're an Amazon seller, some providers go above and beyond to allow Amazon to accept the address, which I'll discuss later in my recommended providers. Second is pricing. Review the pricing plans and options for each provider, taking into account any additional fees for mail forwarding or other services. Some might offer a bare bones service for a lower price, while others could offer a bundle of additional services such as mail forwarding, telephone answering, and it's crucial to weigh the cost against the value you're receiving. Next, reputation. Check online reviews, look for customer reviews, and testimonials to gauge the quality of service. And customer support provided by each virtual address provider. Contact the provider's customer support to access the responsiveness and helpfulness before even committing to any service provider. Next, flexibility. Remember, this isn't just about getting an address, it's about a partnership with a provider that can actually support your business as it grows. Make sure the provider can be flexible as you grow. Or if you move, some providers will even allow you to transfer your account to a new address when moving. But if you're looking to add multiple businesses to one address account, just keep in mind that's not allowed. You'll have to have multiple addresses. Next, length of the contracts. Some providers offer short-term monthly contracts, while others might lock you in for a longer period of time. What happens if you no longer need the address? It could be 6 months, it could be a year. You may not want to be locked into a contract for that long. Next, registered agent address. If you are planning to be your own registered agent and use the virtual address for the registered agent address, there will need to be a receptionist to collect any legal papers. Otherwise, you're going to need to use another physical address like your home or hire a separate registered agent. Is legal compliance. Make sure the virtual address provider fulfill any legal requirements for your business, such as Amazon verifying the address or opening a bank account. Some people say virtual addresses get you denied for bank accounts, business credit, DUNS, etc. But here's the honest answer. It really depends on the institution and how they verify addresses. Some addresses show up as commercial mail receiving agency. Some banks and vendors don't care. Some do. So use the virtual address for public-facing privacy. Use your physical address privately when an institution requires it for underwriting or verification. If you're chasing business credit or government contracting, you may need a true office, co-working style solution instead of a basic mailbox. Locations. Each provider has a wide variety of locations available, some with more than others. You don't have to choose a location that is in your city, which is one of the perks of using a virtual address. Choose a provider that offers virtual addresses in locations that are relevant to your target market or your desired business presence, as well as convenience to your house if that's important to you. Which brings me into the next step. Picking the right location. But before we choose a location, please just hit that like button below if this video is helpful so more and more business owners like you get the help that they need with legal strategies like this. Step 3 is choosing a physical location for your virtual address. Now, this may seem like a simple task, but it's far from it. The location you choose says a lot about your business. It's a reflection of your brand. And like I said before, it can actually cost you clients if the right location isn't chosen. If you were going for just say the professional vibe, you could pick a premium postcode and gain presence in a sought after or popular area. On the flip side, if your business is rooted in creativity, for example, maybe an address in just say a thriving arts district would be more fitting. That's why it's crucial to consider your business goals when selecting your location. Are you looking to attract high-end clients, or do you want to position yourself as just say a local expert in your field? I also recommend choosing a location that is close to your home or is convenient enough where you can just pop in if you need to and pick up your packages, especially if you're an e-commerce business. You may want this to pick up your packages and inventory after selecting location. The next step is to register your business with your new virtual address. If you are just starting out, this is pretty straightforward. Most providers have an online process to open up an account, which you could do before filing an LLC or tax paperwork. Once you have the address, you can add it to your legal and tax documents. If you already have an LLC, it can be a little more complicated. First, you want to update your business address with your Secretary of State. This can normally be done by filing articles of amendment online with the Secretary of State amending your LLC address. Next, you'll notify the IRS with the LLC's new address, and this could just be done with a simple letter to the IRS. You can just fax it in or mail it in. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this if the IRS has a private address for you, because this won't be public. Then make sure all your public-facing marketing and platforms contain your new address. Last, it's important to have your old address forwarded to your new virtual address so you don't miss anything. Now that you registered your business, it's time to start using your new virtual address. And speaking of which, what is my recommended one? Well, taking into account all the factors that I mentioned before, there's one clear winner, and this has changed from my previous video. Most people may expect my answer to be the expensive one, but it's not. In my previous video, I recommended iPostal, and it can still be a solid option if you need a strong package forwarding. But in 2026, my go-to recommendation for most business owners is Northwest Registered Agent, and here's why. They've expanded locations in most major states. They're strong on the legal credibility and filings, and for Amazon sellers, this is huge. Northwest can provide an actual lease for address verification, which is exactly what many sellers need when Amazon asks for proof. But if you need heavy package forwarding, Northwest may not be the best fit for that. And that's when a provider like iPostal can make more sense. So here's the simple rule. Northwest equals the best overall for legality, credibility, and Amazon verification. iPostal is better if you need robust packaging, handling, forwarding, and that's your top priority. As you can see, being able to use all the features that a virtual address like Northwest offers is extremely beneficial for your business, whether it's a service or product-based business, but only if the rest of your business is set up correctly. And even if you haven't still started your LLC, don't worry. In this video right here, I'll walk you through the step-by-step process on how to do it correctly.